Would you date a former cheater? I recently broke up with my cheating ex and I'm getting back into dating. Immediately after the breakup, I told myself I would never date anyone who has cheated before. A couple people I talked to said the reality is probably more complicated. So I'm wondering, would you consider dating someone who had cheated in a prior relationship? No, not intentionally, but people lie, they say, we grew apart, we had different goals, it just didn't work out, so how would you know? You don't all the time. I am of the once a cheater, always a cheater club. This above like, if someone is going to poison you they aren't going to tell you. People will lie to get to you. I've learned to just continue to have my eyes open and really look at their intentions. Me too. In fact, just more anecdotal evidence to that. My ex-wife went through legitimately 30+ dudes and they all drop her after getting sex. She's hot, but has a drinking problem, is mean and dumb. So she can really be hard to deal with. 20 years of it married to her, they all bounce after few weeks/months. I doubt she tells them the truth about her infidelity, she's rather convincing with her lies too. So anyways, all the dudes have been creeps and she rushed them all to meet our kid. They cheat on each other whatever. Few instances of violence so it's just crazy for my daughter. Anyways. Now she's dating this really nice dude from Illinois we are in Texas, even I could tell her was a good guy. I'm thinking phew, finally my daughter can be around someone decent. Maybe even good. Seemed great. Turns out his wife had cheated on him with a much older guy, and took their kids to be with the affair partner. This made me feel real bad for the poor schmuck because now he's got my ex, and she clearly has him fooled. Well the cheating ex and I get along now after 6 years since D-Day because we co-parent. So she didn't turn this dude against me. I grew to like him a bunch, was thankful for his influence in my daughter's life, if another man had to exist, he was solid. And she still cheated him, and if I had to guess he has no idea. Poor guy. My ex is way out of his league and you can tell he is head over heels. You know, like a year in, thinking he's got it made. Her shit is showing because of the long distance factor. The stories I hear from her friends who all secretly try to fuck me. Lord have mercy. I wouldn't take on a cheater knowingly, no. Though I'd assume they'd lie anyways. Watch for early signs of bullshit, and don't fall in love quickly. Just think. I would ask how they handled it. Did they go to therapy, read any books, change their style of communication? Did they do the work to prevent it from happening again? If not, it's a no. I believe people can change, but not by just doing nothing, and I believe in second chances. I did. Knowingly I thought it would be different with me. I was wrong. He cheated. At least I dumped him immediately upon discovery. He was arrogant enough to think that he could get away with it, and if I found out I would forgive him. When I didn't forgive him he accused me of never loving him because if I did I would forgive him. He failed to see the logic that the problem wasn't my lack of forgiveness, that it was actually his cheating. He never was given consequences for his past behavior. But currently I'm dating a guy who had been married a long time to his high school sweetheart. They grew apart and she had at least an obvious emotional affair. I could understand if he cheated after that went on. They were already doomed, so it's complicated. It's not an easy yes/no answer. It depends whether the person who cheated was actually remorseful and showed regret, also if they were the ones to tell the truth or if they got caught. Either way it's a risk, because that feeling will always be there. It all depends on whether you can learn to deal with those feelings when they come up and if the person is worth the chance. I was a former cheater in my youth. I was severely abused as a child and I did it for validation, love, and attention. But I did the intense work on myself over the years and I am no longer a cheater. You can date someone who has cheated, but you should make effort to confirm that they did the work because otherwise they'll continue to cheat. A study came across my feed last week. It said that a person that cheats is 3 times more likely to repeat the behavior regardless of gender or demographics. Does this answer your question? No. And actually, I fell in love with somebody in a relationship, and she did with me. We were just talking, and the relationship with her BF was dead. At some point, she suggested we went on a trip for a few days, and nights, of course, and had our way because we deserved it. She didn't want to end her relationship before doing any of that, and of course wanted to do it and hide it from her BF. Even if their relationship was over, that already told me everything I could expect should I move on to start a relationship with her, so I didn't. I was strongly in love, but that killed everything. Thinking realistically, the reality is absolutely not more complicated. A cheater is a cheater is a cheater. If every available person in the world were a cheater, I'd far rather remain single forever than start a relationship with a single one of them. My ex-wife swore up and down that she had changed. We reconciled for 5 years, and then she cheated again. I've heard countless variations on this here. 10 years, 15, 20. And there's no valid or legitimate excuse for cheating. Every one of these cheaters had the opportunity to simply and honestly leave their partner. I've heard so many excuses, but every one is bullshit. You're afraid that the partner will hurt you if you try to leave? Then you need to be out of that relationship. Contact the authorities and get a restraining order. If they're capable of hurting you for leaving, you think they won't hurt you for cheating. You don't want to give up your lifestyle or position etc. That's pure selfishness. If those things are contingent upon your relationship status, you need to choose which is more important. You don't get to have your cake and eat it, too. Not when that means lying and abusing your partner. You don't want your kids to have a broken home? Then don't break it. Make your choice. One of them is clearly the selfish choice, but if you're going to be selfish, at least do so honestly. You didn't mean asterisk for it to happen, but it just did, somehow? That's bullshit and you know it. At some point in that, you made a choice to betray your partner for your own selfish indulgence. If somehow you manage to force that choice into your own subconscious, it means that you are delusional, untrustworthy, have zero self-control when it matters, and are unfit to be in a relationship with anyone. If someone has cheated ever, for any reason, they are unfit as a candidate to be your partner, unsuitable for your commitment, and unworthy of your love. Okay, after reading some of the comments here, I'll make an exception for someone who cheated when they were very young, like a teen, before they'd actually matured into an adult. Also, I want to say, if you have friends who thinking cheating is okay and not a big deal, you should really consider getting some new friends. Cheating is abuse. Choosing to spend your time with people who are fine with abuse feels like taking a big gamble. At least to me personally. If you are going to do it, make sure they have put in the work to grow/change that shit. I like it. But seriously, be careful. Maybe it's because I loved my ex immensely, but getting cheated on in marriage with children is like the worst possible relationship experience. Oh man, I almost didn't make it out of that one. And in order to get along to co-parent, I have to eat shit sandwiches and smile regularly, just to avoid another round of psycho, using my kid to upset me. 6 years later and I'm still dealing with person on the daily to ensure my kid is safe. Basically, I pick her up from school every day, and her mom gets her just before bed a few nights here and there. Only cares about the $1,500 child support my child never sees a penny of. Trips to Mexico, California, Florida quarterly. Let me tell you, I'd freaking make sure they did more than read a few books if you're going to risk your life with a destroyer. Cheater personality type. Tends to be a deep-rooted character flaw, a lot of times from childhood, mostly in need of attention/insecurity. I'd argue people who are wired like this have little control long-term. Eventually the opportunity presents itself at just the wrong time. Even if they have behaved for a certain partner, never lasts. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Because in most instances of cheating, it's totally due to a personality flaw. Character flaw. Lack of empathy and ability to love in a healthy way. Read books, ha 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 ha. My ex read like 1,000 books and cheated more. No. I've been all kinds of messed up and never had a problem not cheating on someone I was with or, knowingly, being intimate romantically/sexually with someone who was cheating. When I say messed up, I mean at various times I was in bad relationships, depressed, emotionally unavailable, emotionally needy, lacking boundaries, low self-esteem, often drunk/high etc. The reason I didn't have an issue with cheating is because I don't externalize my problems. I know my problems are mine, and while I can get support in dealing with them, they belong to me and are ultimately mine to handle. Cheaters are externalizing their issues. They have to disregard the person they've made a commitment to, so they usually put them down in a way that justifies their own behavior. Then they drag another person down to their level and use them to cope with whatever feelings they are trying to avoid. I will put up with a lot, but I never want to deal with another immature brat who tries to make me responsible for their problems. And ultimately, I don't think people change. They either internalize or externalize their problems. Thus, once a cheater, always a cheater. Thanks for watching.